think Coca-Cola speaker also mentioned the importance of doing business, making sure what's inside of your business also represents what is on the outside. And I think this is the key. So for us as when we talk about diversity or inclusivity, it's not about from top down or from inside outside. There should be also what is on the broader society. If you want to make a change, if you're talking about social responsibility or corporate responsibility, then we really have to serve the people. We have to not only serve, but we have to represent. And I think what's important this morning, we learned a lot about how, and even yesterday, how we make better decisions the more diverse we are. So if you're going to have a very exclusive group inside doing business, then essentially you are saying that outward is in a society is not working. So what I'm trying to give an example where if you have a diverse group of citizens, black women, black men, LGBTI groups, persons with disabilities, and these are all what makes up society. Then you as a corporate who's the face of that country, for example, or of that institution, are only white men. Then what are you trying to tell us? That, our voice doesn't matter. The people in the community, it doesn't matter that it's business as usual, but you're not reflecting the changes that's going out there. And it's also about profit at the end of the day. If for me to buy your product, I have to see myself. And if I don't see myself, then maybe I'll go somewhere else where I feel like I'm being seen. So it's both ways, I think. And that's what...
You can carry on, sorry.
No, I'm done. I could go on all day about how important it is to reflect what we are selling and about how diversity of opinions, obviously, we know there is evidence. Evidence shows that companies with diverse board thrive better. And diversity not only in terms of sex, but other diverse, whether it's geographic or nationalities or language. As I was saying this morning, that it starts from our personal lives, our homes, our communities, and then we hope individuals will take up some of these cases at the national and then the international. And there are so many little things we can do in our daily lives. So when we talk about inclusion of women, it's about how do we raise our children, those who have children, or our nephews or our nieces. What key messages are we sending out? So it doesn't have to be something, you don't have to join the UN and leave your country to go and live in Ghana or in Ethiopia or Nigeria. You don't have to do something so dramatic. Or volunteer, become a UN volunteer. This is welcome if you can. If you can leave your family. But I think since we are trying to build a better world with the SDGs, which has given us a whole transformative agenda, it's a global agenda. And there are many layers to it. But what we see from the root causes, and to get to the top, we have to start from the bottom. So everyday things we do, how we speak to our children, how we raise them, how we speak to our neighbors, how we are in our behavior towards each other, I think is already doing something. Certainly, I agree with that. Often we, instead of changing, because when we talk about what my experience have shown, when we talk about gender equality, we talk about parity, we talk about making sure there are more women in parliament, there are more women on the board, there are more women in the room, there are more women at this level, it's about numbers. But numbers doesn't necessarily make a change. And what we really should be looking at is structural changes. Many of these systems that we encourage women to now be represented were created by men and for men. So if a company, even how a company itself is set up, how a company functions, the formation of a company was done by men and for men. So now we are saying we want to genderize these institutions that didn't have gender in it in the first place. And I'm not saying we should tear everything down. I'm not an anarchist. And I say let's destroy all the systems and all the structures we have in place and let's start again, but this time with women. No, obviously we can't do that. I'm saying that the numbers are just not enough. That we also have to look at the structures that are masculine in nature. And not feminize it, because I don't know about this, but let's do it with women perspective now. So another example would be parliaments, the traditional parliaments that we see in many of the global north in the country, and in my country in Ghana, because many of them are leftover colonization structures that we inherited and that we are operating in. And parliament was built by men for men. And then all of a sudden you thrust women in it and you say we have to navigate these rules and these structures and these processes that were set up by men. So it's not just about the people inside, we say, it's not even about, it's about the processes and the structures that they were not built for women. So why are we forced to adapt and contextualize ourselves into these structures when they are not made for you in the first place?
I could talk to you for
I could talk for hours on these things.
Because it's just so fascinating to me.
I could too, but nobody listens to me
Oh,
because they think I'm an anarchist. We cannot break it down, so we have to make it work for women. How do we make it for? The reality is, how do we make it for women? We have to make it work because we cannot. But then I think we always have to be more kinder to women. So some people say, when women get into positions of power, some women adopt masculine traits. Like these allegations you get against Margaret Thatcher, that you become, because the system is so muscular, that you have to. But I think we should be kinder to those women because they are forced. If they're going to survive, they have to adopt. So that's why if you want to keep this, if you want to genderize it, we should not just say a woman is in power, why is she acting like a man? Often she doesn't have a choice because the system is masculine.